Hey, what's up, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. We got another great show for you this week. It is Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Maybe we'll even, at the end, we'll even go over like what we're thankful for the season. But, hey, got a great Thanksgiving slate for you today as well of games. But before we get into that, you can listen to us on all your favorite podcast platforms. Apple, Spotify, Podbean. You can also find us on our dedicated YouTube channel of Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. And of course, we can be found on Instagram and Twitter at Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF. Just go to any one of those, search us in the search bar, and we'll pop right up for you. RPF, it has been, I would say there's been a lot of parity in the NFL. But before we get into NFL, happy Thanksgiving, my good friend. What do you got going on?
Happy Thanksgiving. It's funny because it's the tail end of Movember. For those who don't know,
Sure,
it's like not shaving. So when I did a poll on my Instagram, you guys can follow me on my own Instagram account, RPFEIC. Anyway, I did a poll on Insta Story to see how many people would say I should shave because I look like someone who would be hanging out with Aaron Rodgers, writing a manifesto in some cave somewhere, some cabin. The point is that literally every Dolphin fan on my list said do not shave. It's like there's superstition or something. Because I'm right. The good luck charm. If I don't shave, we keep winning. So anyway, it's a very funny thing. So I had to keep this beard until at least December or the Dolphins lose. So
you heard it first right here, Tua. I'm talking to you, Tua. The reason you're winning is because of RPF, not you or anyone else.
I'm glad that's cleared up for sure.
I have a confession to make. I am jealous of you people with substantial facial hair because I'd love to participate in something like this because it just seems fun. But I grow little patches and it's and then it just looks really
You must have
dirty.
been carded for beer until you were 27 or something. It's so annoying. I wasn't carded at 12 years old. I was walking into 7-Eleven and buying a six-pack. If I wanted to.
Right.
I was more into grape juice back then, but yes.
Right. All right. Well, hey, let's take a quick look back at Week 11.
Another crazy week.
Another crazy week. And let's see. Things kicked off. Let's go back. So things kicked off on Thursday night. Titans Packers.
Yeah.
Titans over the Packers 27-17.
That was the stake in the heart of Aaron Rodgers' season, I think. He's now fully checked out. Thinking about endorsements for the offseason, thinking about his vacation with his whatever girlfriend he'll have. I think he's done for the season.
Yeah, I saw
works out for me because the Dolphins play them on Christmas Day.
Perfect. Yeah, I think it works out for anyone about to play them coming up. I saw that they went from their preseason percentage to make the playoffs was 95, and now it's 5. So it's literally inverse, and now it's 5.
I actually checked. There's not one. I don't see any single expert that didn't have them not only in the playoffs but winning the division, and possibly going to the championship game or further.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. But we've talked about that. We've hit that ad nauseum of how
well, you're obsessed with Aaron Rodgers or something.
Love him to death.
In fact, he's basically our mascot for sports, of course. He's basically our most beloved.
I will continue to DM him in hopes that he will someday reach back. But and then moving on Sunday, we got. I'm just going to kind of go on a list here. We got the Falcons over the Bears 27-24. Nothing really eye-popping here. Kind of a meh game. I
was hoping the Bears would come back, but
I was hoping they would too. But
they almost did.
But but they didn't. And like I said, it was a meh game. Then we got the Bills over the Browns 31-23. I'll tell you what. For a hot minute, for a quarter, I was
a quarter and 4 minutes. The Browns were
I was
wow.
Yeah. But,
I should say that the advantage of the Dolphins having a bye week, that I was able to really drill down more on other games that are usually against the Dolphins and you're playing. So I was watching the Browns and Bills. I was watching, we'll talk about later, the Jets and the Patriots. Which I'm still not over, by the way. But I'm just I blame you personally, but that's a whole different story. I gave you Tulane, and you give me that. So,
Yeah, so I guess out of that game, like, yeah, the Bills won, but like again, like they looked pretty abysmal for a little while. I just
Yeah,
it didn't
they looked normal. They didn't
right.
look.
It doesn't necessarily like raise red flags to me, but it's just kind of like
It doesn't
are you,
strike fear in us.
right?
Like even 2 weeks ago, we were saying the Bills are going to be unstoppable.
Yeah.
And not
So
so
yeah, it
much.
was kind of an interesting game. Eagles over the Colts, 17-16. This one I thought was a little bit more eye popping to me. Yes, they won, but I mean, we've been
Did
talking.
they? Yeah.
We've been talking about the Colts and how bad they are. Now the Eagles are coming off a loss to the Commanders, followed by a squeak of a win over the Colts. Do you think that spells
I think
any?
next week's game is sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah,
next
go
week's
ahead.
game is telling. If the Eagles, they have an easy game on Sunday. I forgot who they're playing now, but they literally. I remember thinking if they have trouble with this, then they're in trouble in general because on the flip side of that coin, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh,
the Cowboys.
They're playing the Packers.
Right. Okay. Right. If the Eagles, this is what I thought. If the Eagles coming off the Packers like done for the season game. If Packers somehow manage a win over the Eagles are, it's telling not for the Packers that they're done.
Yeah.
The Eagles are coming down for a landing, a hard landing. In directly inverse to the ascending, transcendent, terrifying Cowboys. Which by the way, not to say nothing, but we'll talk about that. I predicted what? Dallas and Miami in the bowl. And right now, no one's laughing, but just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that Cowboys just absolutely stomped the Vikings.
It was not even.
But we'll get down to that. But yeah, I thought it was a bit of a struggle for the Eagles. Next up on my list here is going in order. I got I got my good old Patriots over the Jets, 10-3. RPF, my big friend.
I'm gonna punt like they did 11 times. I'm gonna punt this to later in the show, but I'm gonna just say
that's fair.
Like this is my reaction.
For now, the only thing I'll touch upon is I am so thankful that there was just a miraculous 80-yard punt return. I was just thankful that somebody scored because I knew we were destined for a 3-3 tie, and
which would have been would have been less interesting than the 1-1 draw that the Team USA did at the World Cup, but it would have been equally as exciting. So
that game was so painful to watch. We won. We are sitting at 6-4 in our division, ahead of the Jets now, and I'm like, like this is just so awful.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe it. Anyway,
it's basically when you realize you won the Nathan's hot dog eating contest and you won, but you had 67 hot dogs. That's the feeling you have.
It's wow. All right, moving on. I can't do any better than that. We're moving on to the next one.
Thank you, Nathan's, for future sponsorship for Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF.
Moving on, we got Saints over the Rams, 27-20. I mean,
I don't care.
Yeah. You know what I used to love? I used to love when Deion Sanders used to do with Barstool used to do his little skit last year with ain't nobody care. He'd go through all the betting picks and he'd go through the week ahead and be like, he'd be like, and he'd go, this game, ain't nobody care.
There's always like 6 million people who do care in the country, but we just don't. We personally don't care about the Saints. I mean, the Saints beating the Rams is just another stake in the heart of a Super Bowl champion team.
Yeah,
that's just insane. That in that sense, it makes we care because it's painful, but it's like we saw it coming, kind of.
Yeah, I mean that makes that drops the Rams to 3-7. Like like the Packers, who saw that coming? Like
no one. I had the Rams and Cowboys in the NFC Championship game. So
yeah. Okay, Giants, Lions over the Giants, 31-18. This one was a bit of a shock to me.
This is the one I circled. This is the one I started watching, and the Giants didn't do their thing that they come back when they're down.
Yeah,
the Lions would just put their foot on their neck, on their throat, and didn't let go. And that's the Lions team that the Dolphins barely squeaked a win by over, and that's the team that's playing the Bills right now. They're playing them tonight. Thanksgiving.
Yep.
So that's going to be. To me, well, we talk about that, but Thanksgiving, the slate of games today, that's what I'm watching.
Yeah,
they're the three best games
There's
for
some
different
there's
reasons
some really great
for
games
this week. Yeah,
really
yeah.
great games. We'll get into that in a second.
By the
but
way,
yeah.
that's never happened on Thanksgiving. It's always been like,
no, it is not.
oh God, the Lions against the Patriots against Tom
Right,
Brady. Or
right.
something is like crazy.
Usually the most of the country is just forced to watch these games because they don't want to talk to to all the extended
here's the best
family.
part.
So they're like,
Here's the best
I'll
part.
watch this game.
I always go straight to Thanksgiving when the schedules are released, and I
Yeah.
saw the Bills. The extent be like 80-0. When I saw the Bills playing the
Right.
Lions, and then I saw because it's the same division. I thought maybe Miami had the Thanksgiving game, which would have been fun.
Yeah.
But then I saw the Giants at the Cowboys. Oh, the Giants are going to be terrible again. It's going to be like another
Right.
shellacking. And then the Pats and Vikings. I'm like, the Patriots are not going to even have a win then.
Right.
I mean, I kept thinking
We'd
this is
have
going
a
to be the most
couple.
horrible thing. I'm just saying in my mind back then.
Right, I know.
I thought maybe you have 2 wins because the Jets, you guys play the Jets. So
Right.
anyway, I thought maybe it would have been like a total of 3 victories on the opposing side of these.
I know.
Anyway.
I hear you. It's gonna be a good game. Or a good day. We're gonna go over that in a second. We got Ravens over the Panthers 13-3.
Another game that had the Panthers looking good for about a minute, and then they came back.
Yeah, but like another game it was also like quasi like the Patriots Jets game. Like it was just like whoa.
Lamar Jackson should never be involved in a 13-point game. I mean, he should
Correct.
be,
Yeah, he's way too electric to be
because that defense cannot usually hold a team to less than 13 points. So.
Right.
And they did. So because they're playing, say it with me, the Panthers. If they were playing a legitimate football team, they would have lost that game.
Yeah. We got Commanders 23, Texans 10. Another meh game to me.
Commanders, I mean, are kind of sneaking up on people.
You know what they're doing? They're hanging around.
Yeah.
They're hanging around, and
there's always one team in the NFC East that always like sneaks in with a 7-9 record or something.
Yeah,
I think Commanders could be like the 10-7 team that actually gets into playoffs somehow.
It'd be interesting. I think unfortunately they're falling victim to the year, right? The 3 teams above them in their own division are playing extremely well.
But could they be that division? Could they also pull off what the AFC East is looking like they're going to do?
Right,
have all 4 teams going. So
yeah. That'd be wild. How about that? If both
East Coast
conferences had in the playoffs.
Against the perception preseason that the West division
right,
we're going to be like the beast. Yeah. So
I don't even want to go on. Raiders 22, Broncos 16. You want to talk about this one?
First of all, did you see Carr's quote, the quarterback for the Raiders quote after the game? We're going to be eating well tonight. I'm like, dude, really? You should be on a starvation diet. You should be under like a Himalayan tree.
Isn't this the same guy that was like literally in tears a week ago on the podium?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He's all over.
We might need to get it. We might need to look into this. Sorry. Mental wellness. We might need to check into this.
He's definitely he's in his feelings this past couple of weeks. Yes.
Okay. Vikings 3, Cowboys 40.
Mm-hmm. Easy 37 point. I mean, again, the Vikings. Kirk Cousins started well enough, kind of like in the game, and then I went like this. Wow.
Yeah,
it was like Cowboys we're not having it.
They were not having it. This was,
by the way, at Minnesota.
This was, I will say, I think
the shellacking of the year.
Was the shellacking of the year. I will say this was probably the most perfect game I've seen played in a long time.
Yeah,
by the Cowboys.
Every aspect of the game. This is the Cowboys team that I saw, that I felt.
Yeah,
I said, and it was like weird because the first game of the year they're flat, and then he got hurt, and then all of a sudden Cooper, but it was never real until today, until that's last week.
Did I think the Vikings would win? I didn't. Like I never thought the Vikings. We talked about it. We talked about it in the past episodes. The Vikings were kind of like the least attractive of the upper tier record wise teams.
And we said, let's see what happens with the Cowboys, right?
Yeah,
but the Cowboys are coming off a loss, right?
Did I think they would win? No. Did I think they would only score 3 points? No.
Unheard of. I mean, I don't think Kirk Cousins is dancing with his shirt off on the flight on the drive home.
No,
this week.
No. That was a very impressive performance. We'll see how they follow it up this week.
Yep.
And then we got nail biter. We got the Bengals 37, Steelers 30.
I give the Steelers credit. I think it's honestly, I think the coaching is. I mean, and I've been hard on everything on coaching, but coaching this makes a difference. I mean, the Steelers should not be this competitive against teams that are better than them, and they are every week. They kind of hang around, like you said, and sometimes they pull off a miracle, like week 1 with the Bengals, but generally speaking, they're hanging out. They're hanging around without any weapons, without any real like breakaway talent, and I think that's coaching. I think that's properly coached.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, looks like this will be Tomlin's first ever sub 500 year.
Yeah,
it's
well,
like, and it's like
sorry. Oh, boo-hoo.
Well, no,
I'm sorry.
And it's like arguably one of his best coaching performances. You know,
no, exactly. That's the irony of it.
He has,
yeah. Because how many games has Big Ben bailed out the Steelers before? So
yeah, for sure.
Without that,
all right, and then the Thursday night game.
Trubisky.
The Thursday night game, we had the Chiefs squeaking by the Chargers, 30-27.
That was.
I'll tell you what. The Chiefs, they keep winning, but man, do they keep squeaking by them?
They don't even. They literally would. It's almost like okay. This is my take on the Chiefs. They understand they have Patrick Mahomes too much. So in fact, to the point where, did anyone doubt for a minute that the Chargers were going to drive down the field and score? I didn't for a minute. I mean, there's no expectation otherwise, because the only issue was let them score, with enough time that we can come back. And Mahomes didn't even need he needed like 5 plays, and and then Kelsey scores. I mean, it's literally too much. It's too much, like you said, reliance on Patrick Mahomes. It's too much, I think, expectation of him once again being Patrick Mahomes. But having said that, it is Mahomes again. So to me, the MVP race right now is neck and neck from my point of view. It's Mahomes and Tua. And Mahomes is leading because he's obviously doing this stuff. Tua is sort of orchestrating, the Spanish Armada.
I think individually, I think Mahomes has a much bigger impact on his team than Tua does.
Although both players, without the teams are subpar average teams.
Yes, correct.
So that's been proven, at least with the Dolphins. Without the 3 games he didn't play, we didn't win. That all the games he's played, we won. So
right. Yeah, I'm the Chiefs. I'm really torn with like the classic conundrum of they're like I said, they're winning, but they keep like making these miraculous comebacks, and I'm really torn as to like whether that's a good sign or a bad sign. Like is it good that they can?
I think it doesn't
find these ways to win.
It doesn't have every team feels they're in it. That they play, and that's a dangerous place to be if you're like top tier team,
like it can be, but at the same token, the reverse argument to that is you get to the fourth quarter and it's like, okay, we got the lead, and everyone's like, yeah, but do we?
What Dan Marino told me once. He said teams should always be feared up until the championship game of then they should be parity, right? But if you're not feared, then you're not doing enough to be. So that's where we are with the Chiefs. They're not doing enough, I believe, like you're saying, to be at that level.
To me, it's
on defense. I think more than
it's very reminiscent of some of the past Patriot teams. To be honest with you, with Brady, where we our record wise we pulled off a lot of wins, but a lot of I mean, full disclosure, like take all of our Super Bowls. Like none of our Super Bowls were blowouts.
None.
we just hang in there. No. But the fear that you strike, the fear that I think you're talking about is not necessarily the fear. So I guess here's what I'm arguing is kind of coming to me now is it's not the fear of necessarily of walking into the game against the Chiefs. It's the fear of that fourth quarter coming, and no matter what your lead is, your fear is it doesn't matter what our lead is.
It's a different level of expectation. If you're a coach, a defensive line coach, or an offensive line, or telling them, look, we just need to hang around. Don't even worry about every single play, but just hang around. Just be good enough. We'll get it. We'll pull this out, or we'll be in the neighborhood to pull this out. That's a different conversation than saying we're playing the mighty Chiefs and they're going to kill us by 40 points. It's a whole different metric. If you feel you're in it, then you're going to push yourself further. If you know walking in that you have vintage Brady or vintage Aaron Rodgers or vintage Mahomes,
sure,
and there's nothing you can do, it's a different type of level. Am I going to really push myself that much further and risk injury? I don't know. I think every team right now, with the exception this week of the Cowboys, everyone has enough no one has that fear factor. Weirdly, defenses don't want to face Miami for very good reason. So,
yeah. I see what you're saying. I gotcha. All right, and then the last game of the slate was the Monday night game. The 49ers Cardinals with 38-10, 49ers over the Cardinals. To me, there's not much to talk about other than like I thought the Niners would win. I think the Cardinals they're hurting, man. Like no Kyler Murray. They lost. But
at some point, we don't give them the Cardinals get the grace that other teams do not. When the Bills had no defense with the first 3 weeks, they were all hurt, and they still managed to squeak 2 victories out of 3. No one was saying, "Oh, it's the Bills." So I think we give the Cardinals, at least I've read so much about the Cardinals getting that excuse, which is a legitimate excuse, but week in and week out, it can't just be the teams people are hurt. At some point, you have to win, and they're not winning.
No. Right? No, of course. No. This I guess what I was saying was to me. There's nothing to really talk about. In other words,
yeah.
If they were at full strength and the 49ers went in there and beat them 38-10, I'd be like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly.
Much
It'd
bigger
be like
statement.
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and stuff.
all I'm saying is that I had the 49ers winning this game. Like, I had the Cardinals maybe getting another touchdown or field goal, maybe a couple more points than 10. But to me, without 2 of their top 3 receivers, really, they lost Rondale Moore and Marquise Brown's been out as is. Without Kyler Murray, like it just. You say, 49ers 38, Cardinals 10. I'm like
after the second series of offensive downs, it looked like they just ran out of plays. They ran out of ideas to try to protect the quarterback. They had the first couple drives. They were kind of doing they're doing rollouts and doing the fake draw and stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and delayed draw. And I thought, okay, they're trying to mix it up. And all of a sudden, they started just hanging off the ball. They didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It felt like
that's it.
He learned the first. He learned the quarterback learned the first third of the playbook. That's all we have to go.
Start drawing him in the sand.
Exactly. Yeah, flair and tear, baby.
Yeah. So
in junior high school, I played quarterback. Did I ever tell you that? In our backyard games, I played quarterback, and I would always tell my fastest guy do a flare, which was I called it a diagonal out and then a post straight out, like a Tyreek Hill. I said flare. I would pump it to him, and then I would just say he would just take off, and then we would hold the defensive cornerback. my Mahomes type arm cannon would get the ball right a dime right in the pocket. It was very special to have a Cuban quarterback be so proficient in Miami. Yeah, it was very exciting time for me.
But I digress. I would have enjoyed watching. I would have
enjoyed
watching this.
We had a lot of backyard games. I had my friends Robert Baker,
of course,
and
man,
Joe Bunkle, yeah. It would have
backyard games were commonplace until I don't know what it was 10 years ago or something. Or, I don't know.
When people discovered piano lessons and soccer. Yeah. Parents discovered, he can play soccer for 6 hours a day. Even better up here,
right.
Lacrosse, which that's promising for everyone. Okay.
All right. So there's our recap. That takes us through the week. What I wanted to get into was sort of what we, hey, a little kudos to us. We actually predicted something possibly correct. Was the AFC East is shaping up to be quite the juggernaut. We have all 4 teams within a game of each other. We've got the Dolphins and the Bills at 7-3, and then the Jets and the Patriots at 6-4. So I believe, are we the only division with all winning records?
Maybe maybe the NFC East. What's the record?
The NFC East. So the East rules the world. But yes, the NFC East also has all winning records. However, there's a little more disparity. You got the Eagles up at top at 9-1, and the Commanders at 6-5. But the AFC East. Give me your thoughts on this, RPF. We got the Dolphins in first place.
I have no thoughts.
Are you okay?
Am I okay? First of all, if we go back to episode 1 of season 2 of Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF, I will tell you the following. I'll remind you of the following: when you were just literally on top of the chair screaming at me, saying that I was insane. At least that's how I recall you were doing, as you are very flamboyant in that way. I said back then that that not only the Dolphins are going to be, because Tua now has weapons, Tua has an offensive line that can keep him upright for one more second. All the things I've been saying forever. All of a sudden, that was happening in front of me, and I was looking daily at the video and the practice and the spring in the spring training in the spring, and him in the weight room and him with the attitude with the new coach, and I was like, it's going to happen. For the Dolphins, I felt pretty good about. And then I knew, of course, the injury thing. I just keep Tua alive, and we're going to do well.
Yeah.
And then I felt that the Bills were going to be, lights out, right? Like we all did.
Yep.
And then I felt the Jets were going to be terrible, but the Pats wouldn't be that bad. So I really felt the AFC East could have been right behind the AFC West in as far as success, that we would have at least 2, even 3 teams in the playoffs. Now, in spite of the AFC beast, because our records are, the worst team in our 2 teams in our division are 2 games over 500, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then we have the Bills and Dolphins competing. I think, and the 2 worst teams in the AFC East have arguably the least impressive quarterbacks and still managing to win, which again, coaching.
Yeah.
So I think the AFC East is going to have 3 teams in the playoffs. Now, I think it'll be the Patriots over the Jets. I mean, Patriots are heading in the wrong direction. I think the Patriots are heading in the right direction. They need to figure out that quarterback, because the Pats cannot function against teams that actually are legitimate playoff teams unless they fix Mac Jones' the problem with Mac Jones.
Yes.
In my opinion. But AFC East, Bills and Dolphins, who saw that coming as being legitimately the season-ending game, by the way, is
right.
Bills and Dolphins.
Right.
So,
that's shaping up to be
that's
a
not
huge
true.
one.
I'm sorry. It's the Patriots one. I mean,
I definitely had the Bills winning the division for sure, and everyone did. To your credit, to your Dolphins' credit, man, I sit here today and I'm like, man, I don't know. The Bills are they've looked human the past couple of games, I think is the way to put it. For me, the bottom of the division is where I think we're going to start to separate ourselves. I think the Jets are running out of fuel.
I think so too.
To use the pun.
By the way, and I misspoke. The Bills game is 2 games, is week 16 or something. 18. We end with the Jets, so that's good for mine.
Okay.
We always end with the Bills and get knocked out of the playoffs. This year, at least, we have the Jets.
I think you're about to see a quarterback change. I think you're about to see a quarterback change in New York. Did you see his comment, Zach Wilson's comment, by the way?
The arrogance.
How he's not murdered in that clubhouse right now. How he's still alive.
The lack of self-awareness. I mean, it's like, what are you talking about?
The question was asked. The question was asked, do you think the offense is letting the defense down? They held the Patriots to 3 points up until 5 seconds left. Held them to 3 points. Do you think the offense is letting the defense down? No. What are you doing?
Do you believe
at least elaborate?
Santa Claus helps? you believe that Santa Claus gives children birthday presents on Christmas Day? No. It was like, oh my! I mean, it was the no herd around the locker room. I'm telling you right now.
Yes. No. Because
time. Again, back to my point about people trying to the extra mile, pushing themselves further. When the lack of self-awareness from the team leader on the other side, the humility, by the way, it's again with Tua, but the humility that Tua has, it's always a team win. It's always not about him. It's always about, that's just standard, right? That's just MO from any quarterback.
That is leadership. That's
just human decency.
101.
That's decency.
That's like what they teach you. I guess maybe not in college. It seems apparent.
But Zach Wilson has his attitude of he's always been the golden child, and always been praised,
he has,
and always coddled, and
I have a strong
take ownership.
feeling
people respect that.
He's going to be a massive flash in the pan.
Sorry, imagine if Zach Wilson said, "You know what? This is on me. It's just on me."
Totally.
And we did let them down. They kicked their butt up and down the field, and we could not muster for whatever reason. It's up. We have to figure this out quick, and it's on me. That would be respect. The buck stops here. Love that leadership.
Yeah.
He's like saying, no, it's all a team. We all screwed up. Not so much.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just 101. Like when in doubt, just say it's your fault. It's that easy.
People respect that, and they like that.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a quarterback change. I think the head coach there, Salah. I think he understands the locker room, and I think he understands that if he doesn't make a change, I think one of two things needs to happen. They either need to just make the change and have it be done with. And listen, it's not to say that you can't then reintroduce a quarterback competition next offseason, next training camp. You can't.
Of course, you have to.
It's not to say you can't reintroduce Zach Wilson into the mix and say, "Hey, go prove that you belong there." It's not to say that. It's just to say now you need to make a change. So you either need to get him out of there and put Flacco in there. I'm not saying Joe Flacco is sliced bread, but like. You need a veteran.
I'll tell you,
to answer these questions appropriately.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Flacco's good for 14 points a game. So if you can figure out if you can win a game with 14 or 17 points, that's Flacco. If you need to have 30 points, then you better get Teddy Bridgewater still available.
They have a great defense that Zach threw under the bus there.
Yeah.
So they either need to do that, or they need to have, or Zach Wilson needs to walk to the locker room.
I don't want to fix the New York Jets. Okay, that doesn't help you or me. So let's not carry on about that.
He either needs to do that, or he needs to walk in the locker room and say and just have a press conference with his own team and say, guys,
take a knee and say, dude, I'm so sorry, guys.
I stand before you, your humble servant.
Here's everyone's clean jog. I just washed.
All right, so
I'm not sure what that visual was about, but
let's.
I'm not sure.
Let's
that
finish
just
up
popped to mind that he should be like washing everyone's jog.
Let's finish up this AFC East breakdown real quick with the top two teams. So let's go. So going forward, do you think the Dolphins will finish first place over the Bills? Or will the Bills figure this out?
We play Buffalo. Well, it's a thing. Today's game with the Bills at the Lions will tell me a lot because the Lions are a bad team with a fantastic offense. So if they're playing at home, Thanksgiving tradition, and they can and Goff can he can do he can move that offense around, and
they have a great offense.
Josh Allen hasn't been Josh Allen like the past couple of weeks at times. So I think if it's competitive if the Lions somehow win, that's crazy, right? I think the Dolphins are consistent, which I think that's the thing that's lost in all these numbers that are so incredible. Which I had all these things to show you and recite, and how Tua is leading in 11 of the 15 categories that people judge for quarterbacks, and it's a historic year for Tyreek Hill and all this stuff. Yes, but the weird part is not just spikes in games, it's consistency. Tua's had 3 TDs and 300 yards consistently for 3 straight games, right?
Yeah.
So that's Marino-like. That's not no one's done that in a long time. So that's
fair. Yeah.
And at some point, I think people are now finally shedding the skin of like, is it Tua? Is it really hasn't done enough to show me? He's done enough. So for me, it is the Dolphins at Bills is going to be for first place. I really believe that. And that's going to be, I think, week 16 or something. So in Buffalo, which would be, it's going to be tough, undoubtedly. That stadium, I
don't know.
We lose by 20 points.
Let's see. It's not week 16.
It is 16 or 17.
It's not 17.
Because I know we play. But listen, we play. Miami plays this week. We play the Texans, which there's a rumor that they are considered a football team. It's week 15. Okay. So then we go on this road trip, which is really tough. We go to San Francisco in 2 weeks, which is going to be a headline game for sure. And then we go to the Chargers in LA, which could be interesting if they snap out of their own funk. So then we have these 2 possibly tough games, but tough road games in California. Fly cross country, I believe, to Buffalo. Or maybe sorry, it's something. It's the Packers, Buffalo. It's a really tough type of round. We're in after this week's game with the Texans. Now we're done with the easier type games. Now we actually play football.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. let's say we go up 3-1 in that sequence, it's going to end up being, I think, Miami at Buffalo for all the marbles in week 15. But then we have 16, 17. Then we have a couple more games against we have the Patriots, we have the Jets. So I think our games are winnable. What happens every year, the past 5 years, we end the season with the Bills for all the marbles, and we lose by 20 points. That's why it's so frustrating. We always get to the playoffs almost until we get to the Bills. Now, even if the Bills have a transcendent game and they kick our ass, we have 2 more games to try to make up ground to make the playoffs. So I do believe, and I'm confident about that game, by the way. I think the Dolphins will win the division. And I said that in the beginning, and no one meaning aka you, thought I was, thought I was crazy. I really believed that we would be competitive, and we are, and then some. So,
yeah, hang on. I'm looking at both remaining schedules.
Who do the Bills end with?
So the Bills, I don't want to say they have an easy schedule going back.
They kind of do. I thought they did.
But yeah, I mean, it's so you ready for this kicker? You ready for this? So you and your beloved Dolphins need to be Patriots fans coming down the stretch. Because we still have the Bills twice.
Oh, see, I cheered the Patriots on painfully this past Sunday. I mean, I was like, for fuck's sake, get
cheered them on like this, like
the Jets. I was like, yeah. No, I was all in. I was like, I was telling Mac Jones what to do. He wasn't listening. It was just really bad. Anyway,
but yeah, the Bills have, so they have the Lions today, and then they have Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Bears, Bengals, Patriots.
See, the only thing, Bengals could be interesting game possibly if Lamar's back.
I mean it's the Monday. That's why they have it as the Monday night game.
Is it at Cincinnati or Buffalo?
It's in Cincinnati.
That makes it competitively interesting to me. All right, the Dolphins play them when, and how far back?
Dolphins are week 15. Yes.
And then how many games after that? 3.
3.
Okay, so I think that's better for us. I mean, I can recover 3 victories after a Bills loss. Let's say it's still bounce backable, as they say in no one who speaks English. So I do believe Miami could be. Thank you, Jonah. That's actually special. As an editor, that warms the cockles of my heart. Yes, I said cockles. Look it up. It's a word. I'm sorry. I just had this Wordle experience almost.
Oh, geez. Here we go again. We're bringing up Wordle on our sports show is good. It's once a year. You can only do it once a year. So.
Okay. And then I'll hold this nugget till next season. But anyway, it almost broke me, by the way. But I will say that yes, I think the Dolphins will be. Yes, they'll be in it, and I think I'm going to say it. We're going to win the division, and we'll be the number 2 seed in the AFC.
Okay. All right. And
ironically,
honestly,
I think we'll play the Bengals. I think we'll play the Bengals in the first round. That's what I predict in Miami.
Okay,
and that'll be a fun game to watch.
In Miami, yeah. I mean,
if we're number 2 seed, we play at home. So
here's what I don't like about you guys: as I don't like about you guys going to Buffalo in December, in the middle of December.
Snow.
If I'm just being frank, I mean. You guys are you're down there in Miami, you're getting your tan on still.
See, I love when he does Miami. All the supermodels, the sun.
Yeah, exactly. You guys, they're all pampered down there, and then they're gonna go. I mean, they're moving games out of Buffalo because
what you're saying is that we're less tough. You're saying that we're not tough.
That is elements. That is exactly.
You know what the elements are? Try sprinting in Miami in August. Okay.
And that's why you guys win. That's why you guys win in September all the time. Is because teams go down there and they sweat their ass off and they pass out and they get cramps.
No, because Brady couldn't find the towel boy to dampen to dry off his forehead.
He's been gone for like 3 years now. RPF.
we kicked his ass in September all the time in Miami. All right, yes, moving on. But I think the Dolphins will win the division, and I'm saying it. And then I think it'll be fun. That game will be everything. And then it won't, meaning that it's going to be for all the marbles, and then it's going to be like, okay, whoever won or lost, they still have a really good chance of doing damage because the Bills are playing teams they can beat, and the Dolphins are playing.
What's really interesting to me, and this is all coming to fruition as I look at both of their schedules right now and the current standings. Is as a Patriots fan, I might have to agree with you because we play the Bills twice, and I'd like to think or hope that I'm going to be rooting for the Patriots to win those games. So that puts 2 losses on the Bills column, so I'm like, in my perfect Patriots fandom world, that gives 2 losses to the Bills
in the division.
Which by the way,
this scenario, you would actually knock the Bills out of the playoff, or knock them down to 7 or something.
That'd be very fun. That'd be very fun.
That'd be crazy.
You just sparked something that I remembered from a second ago when I was looking at standings. Of all the teams in our division, the Bills are the only one without a win in the division.
That's going to be rectified in about a minute when they keep playing. When they have the Patriots twice, the Jets. They have that all. I'm saying it's a now league.
It's a now league. So what have you done for me now?
I understand. I'm very happy about this. I'm not arguing with you. The Dolphins are 2-1, and we shouldn't have lost to the Jets because we didn't have 2. So, yeah.
All right. Today is Thanksgiving. Today is Turkey Day. Today we have 3 games on the docket. We have Bills, Lions. Been talking about the Bills ad nauseum here. Bills, Lions, Giants, Cowboys, Patriots, Vikings. RPF, give me your take on today.
I think this, like I said, these 3 games, which has never happened in the history of Thanksgiving in my lifetime, are the 3 most interesting games of the week by far. Not even close, by far.
Has to be the best Thanksgiving lineup we've seen.
And when you looked at this in the beginning of the season, you're like, it's going to be 3 blowouts, right?
Right.
And it's not. It's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So I think the Lions. I mean, I'll put it to you this way: do I think it's likely the Lions will win? No. Do I think the Giants could possibly win? No. Do I think the Patriots can possibly beat the Vikings? Look, I will put it this way: whomever is favored, I'll take the team who's not in the points. Yeah. I think this is that competitive. I believe in Thanksgiving. It could be a lot of angry moms with hot turkey at the table while we're all watching football games. No phones at the table.
Yeah, just a great lineup. Really, really looking forward to it. Obviously, the game that I'm keying on is the Patriots. Obviously,
how happy are you that the Cowboys exposed them that way? So that's
I mean, hey, see, this is what I love about being a Patriots fan right now, as opposed, and I've said this in past seasons, even going back to season 1. This is what I love about being a Patriots fan now without Tom Brady, is that it's all of a sudden you're like it's more blue collar, and it's like every single weekend it's like.
Yeah, it's like Giants Bears, like
every single weekend. I sit down, in front of the TV, like 5 minutes before kickoff, and I'm like,
it feels like Lombardi versus George. It feels like Lombardi against George Halas type of stuff. But listen, here's the thing: we've established this week that the Patriots could win if they keep the teams to 3 points. They just need to have an 80-yard punt return. That's
exactly the thing: is that our defense is playing unbelievable, and like we've said before, like I'm not that high on the Vikings.
Could be a good game.
It could be really. It seems like it could be. I don't know if you want to call it a trap game, but it seems like it could be a game where.
I'll put it this way: if the Patriots were at home, I would favor them by 10 points.
Sure, maybe.
The fact that they're away, it's a 3-point path victory if they keep things clean.
But we'll also obviously be keeping an eye on the other games as well.
You will be, not me.
Yeah.
There's literally to me, I call this fan bye week. If you look at the Sunday slate of games,
so
there's not one game. I'll say it slowly. There's not
hang on.
single game that I care about.
All right, I'm gonna give you the 1 o'clock run, the 1 o'clock rundown on Sunday.
I'm gonna take a nap.
Overt your eyes and ears. We got Bucks, Browns, Bengals, Titans, Texans, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, Falcons, Commanders, Broncos, Panthers, Ravens, Jaguars. And that's it for the 1 o'clocks. Will you watch any of those games?
Dolphins, of course.
But will you?
Yeah, I mean,
you will. I should say, do you need to?
It should be a track meet. It should be fun to watch for me.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, I got, given our history and given our, Murphy's Law of, I don't have enough. Let's say it this way. If we just do our job, it should be an easy week for us. But again,
very much so.
it's
Yeah.
the NFL. So,
Okay, let's just gloss right over that. Let's go to the 4 o'clocks. There's four. We got Chargers, Cardinals, Raiders, Seahawks, Rams, Chiefs, and Saints, 49ers. You got anything of interest in there in the 4 o'clocks?
No, that is going to be another couple hours before 60 Minutes and Real Housewives of Potomac.
Yeah,
I
I think you got a lot of heavy favorites. And Chargers, Cardinals could be interesting, I suppose. But I think you got a lot of heavy favorites.
What's the night game?
Eagles, Packers.
Yeah, nope, nothing. Nothing for me.
And then Monday night, it could be a good game, but irrelevant. Monday night we have the Steelers, Colts.
Oh my God, nothing. This is NFL fan bye week. You're welcome, people. Watch
Thanksgiving. You are welcome. Rest of the week,
go back to the NFL Network and keep watching those games. The repeats of those games, they'll probably be a lot better.
Take your Sunday, go sightseeing, do all the things on Sunday you want to do, but you never do because you're watching football.
It's time to clean the closets out. It's time to get ready for winterizing. But here's the thing. Of course, cut to the greatest week ever. And Sunday, every game comes down to overtime.
Right, of course. Right.
It's going to be because given our history of predicting the future.
Right. How amazing we are at predicting the future.
Yeah.
Should be interesting. Let's move on.
Go ahead. Let me finish this topic. A look ahead would be incomplete without 2 weeks from this, a week from this Sunday.
Oh wow, we're going look ahead.
Just one game for me. Obviously,
of course,
it's the Dolphins at San Francisco. That San Francisco is trending positive. They're getting all the pieces together, and they have incredibly powerful pieces. Right? They have the quarterback again. They have McCaffrey. They have all of course, and everyone else that we know.
Yep.
So then we have the Dolphins allegedly projecting to win this Sunday, making us 8-3, possibly tied or 1-2 in the conference for the best record. And so then we fly out to San Francisco against McDaniel's old boss, who knows ostensibly McDaniel's, which is our coach, McDaniel's tricks and his plays and his tendencies. And so it's going to be a chess game, right? It's going to be a chess match to see if sheer speed from our side, from Waddle and Cheetah, can actually out coach the defensive schemes. And then if our rushers, if Phillips and Chubb can get to the statue quarterback who doesn't like to move around too much. So I think that's going to be the game of the week in general for that week in football.
Should be a good one
as I see this. Yeah,
anyway, should be good. I mean, hey, if you're doing it, I'm going to do it. So 2 weeks from now, we got Bills Patriots.
That's amazing.
Thursday night football. Finally, Thursday night football.
Finally,
Thursday night football is bringing us something.
Bring back Russell Wilson. Yeah, that's what.
And here's something of interest that I noted when I looked at the Patriots schedule way back is, and I know the rest of the league just hates us for this, is because I didn't think we were going to be this competitive. To be honest with you, I didn't think we were going to be this competitive. However, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next 4 games are all primetime, are all night games.
Is that fair? See, that's the type of passive aggressive bias against Miami and against Tua.
Hey,
watch if Miami keeps winning. Watch next season will be on every Monday and Thursday night game possible. I'm sure. The Patriots are literally on prime time
4
every game.
Yep. Yeah. Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night.
Well, think about this. The Colts and Steelers were projected to be interesting, and look at that game on Monday night. Yeah, they're kind of I mean, don't you think they would rather have the Pats Vikings game on Monday night than anyway.
Yeah, of course. All right. That wraps up our NFL coverage for today. Let's RPF. Take me into your own thoughts for the week. Take me into RPF right now.
2 words for you. FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, let's do it.
And FIFA's not a word, in case you're being technical about it. It's an acronym. Look it up. Okay. Disastrous start to the World Cup on many fronts. First, we talked about, at length, I have at least, about the host country being, hell on earth.
Sure.
Qatar is the most draconian country to ever host a World Cup. Clearly, it almost blew up and destroyed FIFA in general because by clearly all the bribes that were taken down 2/3 of the board of the committee were charged and dismissed because of clearly, Qatar should never be been considered a host country, but here we are. All right. The fact that we're playing World Cup in December basically is because the 140-degree temperatures in the desert of Qatar.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the whole scandal. The biggest sponsor for FIFA is Budweiser and beer, and they banned beer sales because the royal family who runs the ruling party, whomever who runs Qatar, at the last second said no beer sales are allowed at the stadium. Which we all know that the global soccer fans are very understanding and measured people, so I'm sure they took it with a grain of salt, and they were fine about it. The game's
and I'm sure they're okay not having a beer while they watch the game.
And the matches started with tickets not being printed and people being told to go to a different location to get. And by the time they got the tickets, the match was over, and it's just chaos. It's a tinderbox in day 3 of the World Cup. Couple with that, with the Team USA, which I was emotional about because it's the first time in 8 years that we have a World Cup team that qualified. We played a great first half. With a young team, a very young team. Our team averages, I think, 22 years old. The goalkeeper looked good, solid. Everything was good. And then we were winning 1-0. And then till the 83rd minute, in a 90-minute game, there was a bad penalty, which was a penalty from our guy who caused the penalty.
Just to clarify, you mean bad penalty? You mean like bad on our part? Like
correct.
You should not have done that.
Unnecessary penalty, but it was a penalty.
Yes.
I mean, if that happened to us and they didn't call it, it would be, the end of the world. So I think, to be fair and, painfully so, it was an actual, and the ref was right on top of the play. So he definitely saw one. Yeah. So anyway, they scored the penalty 1-1. It's a draw, not the end of the world. We still have to play England, which by the way is tomorrow, Friday. After all your hangovers of your Thanksgiving dinners and your games, definitely tune in.
For sure.
A really popcorn game is England, home of Bend It Like Beckham and Team USA. That's huge match for us. And then we play Iran, which is clearly a winnable game. So we need to make sure we have at least a draw, I believe, in England to be able to kind of kick ass on Iran and move out of this group and then move into the single elimination. Now, just this couple of days ago, arguably the single biggest upset in soccer history happened when Saudi Arabia beat Argentina of Maradona fame and Messi fame. They beat 2-1 because of their goalkeeper in Saudi Arabia. The game was interesting, and it was not lucky. They beat them, and it was just a very, very kind of unsettling because the world is shifting. It felt like a bit like climate change was acknowledged. It felt like the political climate changed all of a sudden when the party that hasn't been in power wins. It felt like a real seismic shift in what's happening in the world of soccer, compounded to me with the last World Cups of Ronaldo, of Messi, of all these type of icons of the sport that are going to have to move on to, because now we have a whole new generation. So anyway, FIFA World Cup, I'm reluctant to watch it because it's Qatar. And also on the backdrop of Iran and the courage of the team not to sing the national anthem in protest, in solidarity with the women that are being executed and tried just for protesting not to wear a piece of clothing. So anyway, it's a tinderbox, and I'm worried on several fronts. Mostly, I want Team USA to beat England and shock the world part 2. So that would be my RPF right now.
That'd be awesome. That would be really great. Yeah. No, obviously all the stuff going on behind that you've just highlighted is awful. And as a casual fan, I'm just like, I'm so excited for the World Cup and pumped, and I'm like,
you'd be fine with no beer, right? So then, knowing you so well, you'd be no big. I'll have a diet Sprite. No problem.
No, I would be the jackass that like tries to sneak a pint of Jack Daniels and then gets my hand cut off. And
you sacrifice for the crew.
But so I'm I want soccer to. We've talked about this before. I want soccer to be more popular. It's just so popular worldwide. I want it to be more popular here in the States. And so I'm like, I watched the game. I watched it, and I was into it. And so it bums me out that it is marred. It's scarred by this backdrop when it should just be, because we had this momentum. We're back in it. We're, like you mentioned, like it's been a long time. We're back. We have a good team. Like we have we're competitive. We've been in it before, and it's like usually when we get a draw, it's like
exactly. But the flip side of this is in 4 years, it's actually going to be in North America. So it's going to be mainly in the U.S. with some games in Canada and Mexico as well. So that's going to be fun.
And I don't know. I'm not a soccer analyst, but we have, like you mentioned, we have a young team. So in theory, that team, pretty much the entire team should.
They're going to be peaking in top form for that World Cup. So if the World Cup, let's dream a little bit. If the World Cup is actually going to fall into place, we should get out of the groups this year and get into like maybe 1 or 2 more victories, and then get prepped for 4 years from now when we have a real shot at making it fun for America to watch its home team. That'd be amazing, right? And that'll be more importantly season 6 of Sports, of course,
right,
with Jonah and RP.
Right, of course. Right. That was the look ahead.
That'll make the Dolphins 3-time World Super Bowl champions heading into.
And here we are. All right, we're gonna move along. We're gonna finish up with a new segment here on Sports Course. We're gonna try this one out for a little bit. Our new segment, RPF. Are you ready? Our new segment is what I wish had happened this week.
Okay. Ready?
I'll go first because this was my idea. So I'll just to give you an idea. I'm gonna go first.
Sure, Zach Wilson, please.
I'm gonna gloss over one real quick. It was what I wish had happened was we didn't take that stupid penalty in the World Cup game. Like you said, it was our team's young. To me, it looked like a young penalty. It was just, it was in the goalie box, and it didn't need to happen. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
And
on the flip side, he has a really cool man bun. The guy who committed the penalty, which I kind of like. So
okay, well, there's that, and then. Okay, so my bigger one, what I wish had happened this week is, I gotta say, I wish Mac Jones had gotten benched. Watching that game, I can't watch this anymore. I can't watch.
Yeah.
It. Like, it's one thing. It's one thing to have to hang around and be in the game and just win it late in the game. That's fine, but like, he doesn't show me anything that like.
Mm-hmm. There's no fire in the belly.
There's nothing in it. At least Bailey Zappi gives me like energy and a spark, and like there's the what if factor. Like when he hikes the ball and he's holding it in the pocket, you're like, he might connect. I don't know.
Oh, right. Devonta Parker does play for this team.
I honest to God, like I was watching with a good friend of ours. I was a Patriots fan. We were sitting there together, and I was just like, at halftime, I said, I hope he doesn't come back out, because I think what sparked it was at one of the plays right before halftime, he kind of came up a little lame off of. I think he got sacked because he can't make a decision.
He freezes a little bit.
He freezes because he's so cautious, and he goes through his.
He's trying to remember what the coaches tell him what to do, and
he's just so cautious. He won't take that. He won't take that risk. So anyway, yes,
mine's similar. I tell you, I wish I hadn't had to watch a single down of Zach Wilson against Mac Jones trying to lead offenses. Yes. I mean, honestly,
I hear you.
And as I mentioned, the bye week for the Dolphins, so I was able to watch every play of that misery, true, unequivocal, horrifying misery that it was, because. The only reason why Mac Jones won is because he's playing Zach Wilson. I mean, he's playing against
100%
Zach Wilson. And Mac Jones, I was wondering about that too, about him coming back from the second half and playing. I think it was a calculation from Belichick saying, we need him.
Hey, listen,
going forward. Zappy's not the answer forever, so I need to have him snap out of it and quick, and he needs to learn through these games. And I think that's the calculation. Mac Jones has to act on instinct. He can't be thinking too hard. He's thinking. I could see the wheels turning while he's getting sacked. So I think being personally spoiled by watching this track meet with Tua, Tariq, and Waddle every week. I mean, an offense should be able to score, or at least have first downs. I mean, it was like 12 punts in that second half. It was insanity. So anyway, gross. So that's what I wish had happened. I didn't have to watch that horrible game. So now you tell me the Patriots are in 4 national TV games. So I go from Seattle and I go from Denver and Russell Wilson's horror to the horror that could be Mac Jones trying to lead an offense. So great. Okay, so I think we did a bang up job in this episode, Jonah.
Oh, we did a phenomenal job. We always do. It's one of the greatest sports talk shows that you can possibly listen to.
From Palm Beach to Miami, and from Maine, from Bangor, Maine to Connecticut.
No, we always have a good time here on Sports, of course. Hey, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey. Enjoy your lineup of football games.
What are you thankful for this Thanksgiving?
I am.
Let's do a pass on the family and
right.
It's all that stuff.
It's a sports show. We love everyone. Everyone's great. I am thankful that the Patriots are 6-4 and competitive. Yeah. I mean, our defense keeps us in the division, and I'm thankful that we're 6-4 headed into Thanksgiving here.
I'm thankful that Tua is not only healthy, because that was not a given after the Bengals' horrible moment, when he was. So I'm very thankful, and not being honest about that. I'm very thankful that he's healthy.
Yeah,
more than playing. I'm thankful that he's healthy, but
absolutely.
Also the fact that he's confident, he's having fun, and that's a dangerous player when they're confident. When Mahomes. His second season, I believe, he was just jumping up and down, and that was fun to watch.
That's where we are. Schoolyard football.
Every game, every practice before each game, they come up with new handshakes. For example, for the for the wide receivers, and they show them off. And it's fun. And Tua's doing his little jig. I'm telling you, keep jigging, and we're in good hands. So,
all right, everybody, you heard it first. Keep jigging. We will see you next week. You can listen to us on all your favorite podcast listening platforms, Apple, Spotify, Podbean, all the good ones. And you can also find us on our dedicated YouTube channel, Sports, of course, with Jonah and RPF, as well as Instagram and Twitter. Just search Sports Course with Jonah and RPF, and any of those search bars will pop right up. RPF, my dear friend, of course, real sappy, real quick. Thankful to have you as one of my co-hosts. We'll end right there.
Well, I'm actually technically your only co-host, but I'm thankful for you as well.
Whatever, editor.
What I'm just saying.